Hey guys, so today is day 5 of the challenge. If you stuck with us so far, thank you. I'm hoping that your videos are going well and you're feeling that you're kind of being kind and giving yourself some time. So today we're gonna focus on self-compassion and a way that we can be kind to ourselves. We're gonna try a technique that can kind of help us focusing around that. So, I'd like you to take a moment to think about a time when you were struggling maybe with something difficult, or maybe there was a mistake that you might have made, or something that you kind of later regretted. So, just take a moment to kind of think back to a time. Now, I'd like you to think about your response. So, when you were going through this kind of time, was your reaction kind of saying, "Oh, I'm a rubbish person, I shouldn't have done this"? Or was your reaction more like, "Okay, so we all make mistakes and sometimes things don't go how we'd like, and that's okay, I'll do better next time"? So that's basically the difference between self-critical and self-compassionate thinking. So the self-critical thinking is thinking, I'm maybe a rubbish person, or I did this wrong. And the self-compassionate thinking is thinking, okay, well, maybe this didn't go as I liked, but actually I've kind of done better than I thought. So thinking about that situation, what we're going to do is we're going to try and write ourselves a self-compassion letter. And that's going to be a way of kind of working through, bringing some kindness to ourselves and allowing ourselves some compassion for maybe something that we found difficult, or maybe something that kind of we did wrong, or made kind of a mistake over. So I've written my compassion letter here. Before you write your self-compassion letter, so you want to get some paper and get a pen. I'd like you to just kind of sit down, and again, if you feel comfortable, you might want to close your eyes, and I just want you to really focus on that thing that we were talking about. So maybe something that you've been finding difficult recently, or maybe it was kind of a mistake that you felt you might have made, and just focus on what it feels like physically. So what kind of emotions are you noticing? Maybe kind of there's something that you're noticing in your body, some areas of tension. And now it might kind of feel silly, but if you feel comfortable too, it might be nice to kind of give yourself a hug and maybe kind of gently sway side to side. And the reason why we do this is because actually physical touch is a way of being kind to ourselves. So it releases the happy hormone, and it's a way of kind of saying it's okay, and that we can be kind to ourselves in this moment. Quite often when we're going through something difficult, we can have quite negative emotions attached to it. So sometimes kind of giving ourselves a hug or some physical touch can be a way of kind of reminding ourselves that we're being compassionate in this moment. So when you've kind of done that and given yourself a hug, you can open up your eyes and then start to write your compassion letter. So it might be difficult sometimes to write down ways of being kind to ourselves. So sometimes it's easier to think about what a family member or a friend might say to us. So a family member or friend generally would be more compassionate and understanding than we would to ourselves, and that's because we're more compassionate with the way that we think about others than we are when we focus on kind of ourselves. Usually we're quite self-critical to ourselves. So if you're finding it difficult to write the letter, it might be that you want to kind of focus on thinking about that. And once you've written the letter, it might be worth focusing on maybe doing some self-care. So one of the activities we did earlier in the week, and finding another way that you can be kind to yourself, because often it can bring up quite difficult emotions. All right, well, there's the end of the challenge. Thanks for taking part. All right, bye.